So, on the 55 Nomad project, a couple months ago we posted that we needed a roof for the Nomad, and we found a roof on a parts car for the Nomad. The other parts car's been to the sandblaster, and we got all the inner structure and the roof blasted. It's back, it's in epoxy primer now. We are starting the process of cutting off the old roof off the car we're keeping. The inside, we've gusseted it up with some 1-inch square tubing on all of our main contact points, the B pillar, the C pillar. We didn't get into the A pillar because we wanted to still be able to open and shut the door to test fit. Even though it is welded together, the door, we know what the door gap is. We're going to be able to measure the door gap after we finish cutting the roof off and make sure, and double make sure, that our bracing that we put in the inside of it didn't move, the body didn't move, so it's all going to go back together. The good thing about bracing is it holds the car where it's at. That means that it shouldn't have moved if done right. It should stay in the same position after you cut it apart. What the bracing doesn't do is if the car was crooked, whenever you put the bracing into it, it's just going to keep the same crookedness that it has. So there's pros and cons to bracing. It's only going to go back together right one way, and so as far as that goes, bracing doesn't matter. But if it's a good straight car and you brace it up, you should be able to brace both cars up, cut the roof off both cars, and be able to swap roofs. In this scenario, that's exactly what we're doing. The other Nomad that we're cutting the donor roof off of, the rest of the car is still a buildable car. It would just be something that somebody could do the work themselves that wanted a Nomad, that didn't have the money to go out and buy a Nomad but had the ability to do the work themselves. That's where the Nomad's going to do. It's going to get this roof on it. So we're actually going to weld this roof onto the other car and that roof onto the keep car. So at this stage right now, we are cutting the outer skin in 2 spots. We're going to cut the inner structure in 1 spot. When we go back together, we're going to be able to weld the inner structure from both sides, or maybe even put a fish plate in on the back side and then weld the outer skin on it. That's why we cut the outside in 2 spots, the center side in 1 spot. Makes our joints overlap to make a stronger repair on a chop. Not everybody does that. In my opinion, it's the right way to do it. So the last time I did a couple-minute video on how we're cutting apart. Today, you can see that it is cut apart. Our bracing held, our gaps stayed the same. Got the old roof removed. Keeping the team going. Eric's been doing body work on the fender. Next week's video, we should have the other top cut off and be going back together with this top.